Welcome back to Hypnosis Today, where we explore how people are using hypnosis to achieve remarkable things. If you've just joined us, we have as our next guests, Libya Lindano. Now, she is a fellow instructor with me right here at HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She is a regular speaker at the American Hypnosis Association. She is a creator of the Hypno Workout, and you can also attend Libya's boot camp right here in Los Angeles, California. And she has with her her very special guest and client, Frances. Now, Frances came in to see Libya for a sugar addiction. Please help me welcome my guests and our client. Well, I'm going to start with you, Frances. Tell me a little bit about your sugar addiction.
Well, I'd always had a sweet tooth, but I had started to feel in the last, I don't know, maybe a decade or so that I really just couldn't say no to sugar. I would think about it when I wasn't eating, and I would always, even if I went to have a nice meal or something, I'd be thinking of it in terms of the dessert we'd have afterwards, you know. And I noticed over time that it wasn't, eating sugar was no longer just a problem of gaining weight or getting cavities. I noticed I was getting headaches, my mood good. You know, I would sometimes have these repetitive angry thoughts because I'd had sugar. And so I wanted to get off it, and I'd made other decisions to live a healthful lifestyle. You know, I ate well and I exercised and that kind of thing, but I just didn't feel like I could say no to sugar.
Well, it does sound like an addiction or a bad habit where it had short-term benefit but long-term harm for you. Now, with having a sugar addiction, there's a lot of different interventions you can use. Why a hypnotherapist?
Well, because I believe that we're able to do just about anything we choose to do if we can get our minds behind it. And I knew that the best way to do that was with hypnotherapy.
So how did you find Libya?
Well, that was easy. I'm actually a student here at HMI, and she came and spoke at my 101 class. And this beautiful woman walked in. She's clearly in excellent shape. She spoke about how she used hypnotherapy to work with her personal training clients. And I was just very impressed with the way that she made use of hypnotherapy. And at a time in my life when I had made the choice that I was going to see a hypnotherapist, but I hadn't actually done it yet, it almost seemed like, you know, divine providence or something that she walked into my class.
Well, I always say that there's a synchronicity
absolutely.
about choosing hypnotherapy. And you know, you ever hear that when the student is ready, the teacher appears?
Oh, yes.
When the client is ready, the hypnotherapist appears. And I love that you met her as she was teaching a class and really gravitated to the information and her energy. So, Libya, I'm going to go to you. What kind of an induction would you use with a sugar addiction client?
I did an arm raising. It was her first session. With the sugar addiction, there's many things that you have to kind of pinpoint. I did an interview with her over the phone before meeting her, and just got a feel of where she was at as far as does she work out, why she wants to quit the sugar, and what her experience was with it, how much she was doing, kind of like how you would do a smoking client. And so from there, I prepared a plan for her, and she was a great client because she was ready to do the work. She did her homework, and she got great success. It was one session, and she was able to beat the sugar.
Well, I really like where this is going because you talked about your preparation beforehand. What did you think when you walked into that office and you saw how much work Libya did to prepare specifically for your issue?
Well, it brought me enormous comfort. I felt like I was in, you know, the safest hands I could be in. I was absolutely cradled by her caring and her knowledge, and it made me more willing to sort of turn myself over to her, which it was absolutely necessary to accomplish anything.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to pick up on something else you said, that you used an arm raising. What was that like to be in a hypnotherapy room and feel the arm getting lighter and lighter, light as a feather, lifting and rising?
It's really bizarre. It's really a very strange feeling.
Did it help you trust the process?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yes.
It made me feel like this must really be working.
Now, did you use hypnosis imagery? What did you do during the session?
I do a combination of everything, imagery, hypnosis, even NLP. With her particularly, I used the symbol of a snake tapping at her brain every time she wanted the sugar. The snake is the more you feed the snake, the bigger and louder it gets. But it takes 21 days to create a new habit, and the more you don't feed it, it ends up dying out. Eventually it will leave the system.
What was that like, using that kind of a symbol of a snake?
Well, I didn't like
snake.
it. Yeah, I certainly didn't like it at all, and you know, I didn't want to have to think about this thing that was part of me, but it was very accurate. That's exactly how I felt about it, and it had a mind of its own. And you know, the imagery of it coming back and knocking on, you know, the door again and wanting more was very accurate.
Wow. So you really bought into the 21 days that you don't have, if you feed it, it will die.
Oh, absolutely.
And that'll be the end of it. So we did before, we did during. Now you talked about doing some homework.
Homework,
Let's hear about it.
The homework was, so I gave her a journal. The journal is, the colors of the rainbow are in front of the journal, and she was to eat, because when you take something away, you have to replace it, because the mind is feeling a loss if you just take it away. Taking my ice cream away? So I figured that ice cream was her trigger, the one she really loved. So a good replacement was to do some really natural good smoothies, fruity smoothies that were going to be icy. And so her homework was to write down what she was eating during the week. And also, she works out 6 days a week, and to write down her regimen of what she was doing. So it was going in the body and what was going out of the body as far as working out. And she did really well. Also, another homework that she was to do is to watch Forks Over Knives.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It's a great documentary, and it talks about the addiction of sugar from the time we're born, how a little baby will be addicted to sugar, and it will, that snake starts to be born at that age,
okay.
And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So that really helped her to reinforce all of the suggestions that I had given her under hypnosis.
What was your reaction to having homework?
At first, when Livia presented me with the journal, I sort of politely went along with it, and I thought, well, you know, I've tried this before, and I didn't say this, but I thought I'd tried it before, and it didn't quite work for me. And in terms of replacing, you know, the ice cream with something healthier, I'd also tried that before, and it hadn't really helped. But I didn't say any of that out loud. And we did the hypnosis, and I found that the two together worked really well. That I was now able to keep this journal, and I look forward to keeping the journal. I mean, it's not a guilt thing anymore. Now it's more like a reward thing. I'm writing down these good things I'm doing, you know, and it was much easier to eat or drink a healthful replacement for ice cream.
So just having someone telling you, you didn't do it, but with the hypnosis and rehearsing it in that relaxed state, then the homework was easy to do. And you actually look forward to it.
I do.
So what would you say to someone who is thinking about hypnotherapy for some sort of a sugar or a tobacco or something that we're putting into our bodies that has maybe long-term harm? What would you say to that person about seeing a hypnotherapist?
I would highly recommend it. Absolutely recommend it. It's the most remarkable thing. I mean, I've been through this experience now. I now know how it can affect me, and yet it was so subtle. You know, it seems so, I feel like such a different person now. You would think, well, in her office, we must have had a bolt of lightning or like a puff of smoke, or, you know, at least she had a magic wand, and none of that was there, but yet it's completely different now. And so I would highly recommend hypnotherapy, especially with Livia.
All right. Can you describe what hypnosis felt like to you when you were in the hypnotic trance?
It wasn't amazing. It just felt like I was very relaxed. And, you know, I had my eyes closed and I was in this lovely chair. But it wasn't, you know, I didn't feel like a zombie. I was fully aware of everything that Livia was saying to me. You know, so it was great. I really enjoyed it.
You took it in on a very deep level, and that's very impressive. Livia, I'm going to end with you. can you give us some of your best post-hypnotic suggestions for anyone who's struggling with a sugar or any kind of an addiction?
One good one is each and every time you touch your keys, it will reinforce all of the suggestions because we're touching our keys all the time. So it's a great way to reinforce that. And also with the replacement under hypnosis, I told her she was going to be craving the fruity drinks and smoothies, and each and every time she tasted that smoothie, it was going to reactivate a new habit in her brain, in her cells will reproduce this new habit. So that one, and of course the venting out and early morning venting dreams, and she had a really good venting dream about this, venting out the desire for the sugar.
Everyone is going to want to learn more about hypnotherapy and sugar addictions. And you can reach Libya Lindano on hmigrads.com. As I said, she is an instructor right here at HMI College of Hypnotherapy, and I'm very impressed with all the preparation you do for each and every one of your clients.
And I want to say something else.
Yes, please.
You know, this work is so rewarding because, you know, when Frances came to me, I kind of giggled inside because even though I'm a personal trainer and fitness guru, therapist, sugar is one of my triggers too, you know, and the universe works in interesting ways. It just reminds you, oh, here we go. But you know, we went through the session, and when I was done with her, I could not eat sugar. I could not eat sugar. I started doing the smoothies, and and it was 3 weeks actually that I didn't have any sugar, and because on my birthday, of course, my son and his father got me a cake, and so I had to have sugar that day. But it's so wonderful to be able to help other people, and as you're doing that, you're helping yourself.
Someone wise once said, sometimes you teach what you need to learn. It appears we're out of time for today. But I want to thank Livia and Frances for joining us and sharing your experience. I want to thank everyone in the studio audience and everybody at home for watching my show. My name is Lisa Mackenberg, and I hope you'll join us next time when we meet more people and explore how they are using hypnosis today. Please stay tuned. We have a lot more coming up for you on HMI Web TV. That's Hypnotherapy Television, 24/7.
In terms of the dessert we'd have afterwards, you know. And I noticed over time that it wasn't, eating sugar was no longer just a problem of gaining weight or getting cavities. I noticed I was getting headaches, my mood was not good, you know, I would sometimes have these repetitive angry thoughts.
Hypnosis to achieve remarkable things. If you've just joined us, we have as our next guests, Libya Lindano. Now, she is a fellow instructor with me right here at HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She is a regular speaker at the American Hypnosis Association. She is a creator of the Hypno Workout, and you can also attend Libya's boot camp right here in Los Angeles, California. And she has with her her very special guest and client, Frances. Now, Frances came in to see Libya for a sugar addiction. Please help me welcome my guests and our client. Well, I'm going to start with you. Welcome back to Hypnosis Today, where we explore how people are using Frances. Tell me a little bit about your sugar addiction.
Well, I'd always had a sweet tooth, but I had started to feel in the last, I don't know, maybe a decade or so that I really just couldn't say no to sugar. I would think about it when I wasn't eating, and I would always, even if I went to have a nice meal or something, I'd be thinking of it.